Okay, so why is your web page so slow? It's actually a really big question we could talk about for a long time, and we will over a series of many videos. But today we're just going to talk about a really handy little tool that scratches the surface called PageSpeed Insights. We're going to pick on one of my favorite targets, Goop.com, because their website is ridiculous and really successful. And so we'll use PageSpeed Insights to pick it apart, see what parts of it are still running slow. Of course, they're Goop. They're so wildly successful that none of this really matters for them. But for all the normers out there that don't have multi-billion-dollar nonsense makeup businesses, these are going to be some really useful things you want to know about how your website's running. All right, so you're going to load up pagespeed.web.dev and type in your URL. Here we get a bunch of information that probably isn't going to mean too much to you right off the bat. We'll have some future videos where we talk about things like largest contentful paint, first input delay. But for now, we're really going to get just into this one right here, performance. Now, it's important to note, you can see right here, we have mobile selected, which when it comes to your page speed ranks, when it comes to how Google, Bing, whatever else is considering your page rank, they're really looking at mobile speed. Desktop speed looks significantly different, looks significantly better, but they're not weighing that when it comes to determining your overall page rank. So we're going to focus on mobile. Plus, if you're like many website owners out there, the majority of your audience is already on mobile. And if you're finding that's not the case, it's probably because your website's not optimized for mobile, and that's a whole separate problem that you'll want to deal with. So we're going to look at mobile and dig into our performance rating here. And you can see here, Goop is not doing too well. Again, doesn't matter. They're Goop, but we're not. So we're going to look at first contentful paint, blocking time, speed index, largest contentful paint. These are all valuable pieces of info. But when we want to learn about what's actually slowing our sites down, we can skip right past it and go right here. The opportunities and the diagnostics. So our opportunities, and this is for every website that we've ever worked on, the top option is reduced unused JavaScript. That's a lie. Sometimes you'll see someone throws a giant video on their homepage. It's going to complain about that first and foremost. But you can see here, Goop is actually costing themselves over 5 seconds of load time with JavaScript that never gets used. It's just downloaded and ignored. But we can actually look and see what the JavaScript is that's loading in. Maybe we can get rid of some of it. Right off the bat, we can see something that I would strongly recommend they get rid of, Accessibility. Accessibility is a fun little accessibility widget that actually gets more people sued for using it than not using it. They've got 169 kilobytes of download just for that Accessibility app, slowing down their page, and it is not helping people with disabilities actually use their site, and it's not protecting them from lawsuits. So they should get rid of that. Of course, there's going to be a lot of things in here that you can't get rid of. Some of it might be your own internal code, stuff that you've been written custom for your site that does cool stuff. Some of it might be your social media links, your Facebook, YouTube videos, TikTok stuff, Instagram stuff. All of those things come with a bit of a payload with them. There's a price for using them. And that price is that they're going to put all kinds of little trackers on your site so that they can watch how people are using your site and gather information and do all the evil things that they do. It's necessary evil, unfortunately, if you own a website, so they're going to be on there and they're going to take up some of that time. You can see they also have a couple of analytics things in here. They've got Rudder Labs, they've got Bluecore, they've got DoubleClick, Tag Manager, and Optimize. Now, they may have some very good reasons for using all these different analytics platforms, but by being a little dicey about whether they're sticking with just Bluecore or Rudder Labs or Google, they've created a situation where they're loading a bunch of additional JavaScript onto their site that maybe they don't need. Maybe they don't need 3 different analytics platforms. They could just stick with one and save a few seconds off their download time. Moving into the next category, we have next-gen images, which really is just make sure your images are compressed well and appropriately. And that's a whole nother topic. We could talk about when to use a JPEG versus a PNG versus a GIF. Don't use a GIF. But according to PageSpeed Insight, they have a 200 kilobyte image that probably should only be a 100 kilobyte image if they had compressed it properly. We also have deferring off-screen images, and you'll see a lot of this kind of thing, deferring off-screen stuff. Really, it's why load images that the user can't see, that they would have to scroll down to see. So the concept here is that they've got a number of these images that are actually being loaded in right off the bat. User can't see them. So defer those, make them load last, or make them only load after they scroll. That way you save it. And of course, Accessibility. It's garbage. Don't ever install Accessibility. Am I going to get sued for saying that? I don't know. I should probably look that up. It's my opinion, right? That's safe. Don't install Accessibate. It's garbage. And here again, we have more issues with properly sized images. Now this is different from the format, which is the way it's compressed in the format that it's in, as opposed to having an image that is over 1,000 pixels high, 3,000 pixels wide, and maybe it's only being included on a place that's 300 by 900. So size your images properly. And then we get into the diagnostics, really where your development team is going to be handy, because this stuff is a little harder to dig into. This is going to tell your developers that, hey, you spent 13 seconds on your homepage just running the JavaScript.
Not great, Bob.
You got too much JavaScript. How to fix that, that's something for a skilled developer to get into, try to find efficiencies, eliminate waste, do less with more. Next, we have ensuring fonts are visible during website load. You'll see this a lot where you load a page and the fonts blink or blip at you. This is when they're loading with a default font that everybody has and then sending to your computer their preferred font. There's a way you can code that so that they don't blink at you and force your content to shift because this font is a slightly different size than the other font. These, of course, get less and less impactful as we go down. You can see the number of seconds involved kind of dropping. But this one here, reduce impact of third-party code. This goes back to what we were talking about up above with the unused JavaScript. That's typically coming from third-party code, which is to say, your whatever.com, this code is coming from Google, it's coming from Facebook, it's coming from RudderLab, Bluecore, whatever else. Doing what you can to lessen your reliance on third-party code is going to always dramatically improve your site. There's a few other things here that are definitely worth discussing with your dev team. Passive listeners to improve scrolling performance, using document write, excessive DOM size, which is how much HTML code is on your page, as well as cache policy, things like that you may not even be able to control depending on your hosting situation, but are certainly worth addressing with your dev team. On the whole, this is where you start. This is what tells you, what do I need to focus on next? Now, of course, there's a number of other useful things about PageSpeed Insights, your accessibility scores, finding issues with your accessibility. We have our best practices, which are, well, they're best practices.
Oh, are they?
You don't necessarily have to follow them, but it's probably a good idea, and it's only going to improve your standing with Google, as well as SEO. And there's usually a good couple of tips in here that will help your page get found and help the content get found. But insofar as your page performance is concerned, you can't really do better than starting here with PageSpeed Insights, looking at this performance score and starting to dig into what some of these issues are. So that was PageSpeed Insights. Like I said, there's a number of topics within this topic. This is sort of a intro to even caring about performance. As always, if you have any questions, anything you'd like us to dig into further, drop us a comment, send us an email at swiftkickweb.com. And starting today, we'll have our new segment, Record Time, which I'm totally ripping off from one of my favorite guitar channels, JHS Pedals, which is why it's only fitting that for our inaugural Record Time, I've got my copy of Jeff Beck's Blow by Blow, which little 7-year-old me picked up at the local Pathmark at the wonderful price of $3.99. This was the record that got me into guitars. I mean, if there's any part of you that cares at all about virtuosic guitar playing, Freeway Jam, I mean, it's an all-time classic. There's nothing else like it. And of course, Jeff Beck just recently passed away. So if you've never checked out any of his solo stuff beyond what he did with the Yardbirds, the guy's one of the greatest guitarists of all time. You could do worse than to start here. Check it out. It's awesome. Talk to you later.